Hi, how are you doing? Maybe you've seen it, been traveling a little bit. Last week we spent with our colleagues and friends in Timișoara, Romania, people who spend a large part of their lives in institutions and people who now found their way out and established their new lives, including in the community. And we learned a lot of things about how they are being supported with housing, with employment. We had a lot of discussions, including with them, of course, with self-advocate. We had a discussion about deinstitutionalization with the local and regional authorities, because in Romania, many people with disabilities in institutions, and the country actually has a plan to support them to move out of these institutions. And as we were having these conversations and then coming back, the Council of the European Union, which effectively is the national governments and specifically the social ministers of the European Union countries, approved a document on Friday about independent living. And it's important, of course, that countries recognize that this is a very important and substantive topic, and also recognize there is a big problem. 1.5, more than a 1.5 it is, but the document says more than 1 million persons with disabilities aged under 65 live in institutions in the EU. Member states are different stages in developing conditions for independent living. Many persons with disabilities still face barriers to fully exercise their right to choose and have control over their decisions concerning their lives, including where, how, and with whom they live. Therefore, there is a need for further efforts at both EU and national level to ensure the full enjoyment by persons with disabilities of their right to live in the community on equal basis with others. As I said, that's very important that the countries recognize this. The document goes on to list many important topics, from access to support services, including things like supported decision-making, access to housing, access to general public services, and like healthcare, education, and everything else. The document actually says interesting and important things, and I keep repeating that because the most important thing about the document is what it doesn't say. And it doesn't say what they want to do with the problem that they themselves recognize, the more than 1 million people in institutions. Nowhere does it say that they want to close these places, that they want to support people to move out and establish their new life included in the community. Which brings me back to Timișoara last week, because at some point, Elizabeta Moldovan, one of the self-advocates, one of the people who lived in institutions and now works hard to help others and support others to get out and to convince Romania to close institutions. At some point, she said that she doubts whether the countries, the governments, the service providers actually mean it when they say that they want to do the institutionalization, that they want to support people in their right to live included in the community. And of course, I can understand her, and I can understand all those who point out that not only is the speed of these changes not fast enough, and hundreds of thousands of people are still segregated. The document actually doesn't recognize the number of people in institutions increased in the past 10 years. But in the end of the day, what matters is not words on paper, whether this one or any other one. What matters are actions. What matters, what countries, what the governments, what service providers, what regional authorities, what all those responsible for segregation of people with disabilities, what they do to end this, to support every single person with intellectual disabilities to move out of institutions, find a new place to live, and establish a good life included in the community.